So fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We finally made it.
Yes, finally. We battled Skype.
We did. Just to kick things off, first question. How have things been since the success of the first series? Because you've obviously had like San Diego Comic-Con, and I bet there's been some fantastic things. You moved to America.
Well, yeah, lots has been going on in the last two
Yeah.
years for me. Yeah, well, so I moved to America on New Year's Day 2017 to do the show. And obviously that was, it's quite an auspicious day to travel as well. The start of the year, big new life over in America. I mean, it's not like I was string free. I was leaving behind my fiance. I was leaving behind all my friends and family, and so it was a mixed bag. But I was going to Hollywood, so that's obviously a great thing.
Yeah.
To work on a crazy new show, which I guess you all have seen now, which is great. Yeah, it was a strange experience, but a great one in the end. And yeah, we've been to Comic-Con a couple of times now, and I think we were going to go as a cast to the New York Comic-Con this year, but it didn't quite work out because we ran over filming somewhat.
Oh, so all dressed up.
All dressed up, nowhere to
Aw.
go.
Yeah.
So but the nice thing about Comic Con is that it's the sort of only opportunity where we get so far to meet our fans face to face. The show's fans. So that is really lovely. We do a big poster signing and we get to have chats with people and lots of interviews and stuff. But it's our only real taste at the moment of the actual audience face to face.
Yeah. And I mean, what are fans' reactions like? Because obviously you're wearing the suit. They were like, is that really you?
Oh yeah. Specifically to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can never prove it. Let's face it. No, people are very well. They've reacted to Isaac really well.
Yeah.
I keep on saying this, but I think he's like the weirdest character on the show, and I think people gravitate towards weird, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly do when I watch anything really, but particularly sci-fi, fantasy. It's those really strange. I mean, I've literally just gone to see Fantastic Beasts, and it's such a pleasure to watch because you just sit there and you have all these imagined creatures in front of you, which has always been a huge pleasure for me to see and to read. And so actually to be one of them now is really fun. It's great to play around with that. So yeah, it's really nice to have people's reactions to Isaac. And a lot of people say, oh, he's my favorite character, which I think is really sweet. I don't know if they're just saying it because they're standing in front of me.
Maybe.
I suspect I do the same. Yeah. But yeah, and obviously as the show goes on, it's becoming slightly more apparent that it's me who's playing him. And that was, there was the whole Brent Spiner thing with the voice, which was very funny. And I don't know if you knew about that on Twitter, but Brent Spiner, who plays Data in Next Generation, kept on being asked on Twitter if he was playing Isaac in the Orville.
Oh.
And yeah, well, he obviously got so pissed off about it that he made a tweet saying, "No, that is not me. It's this guy,"
Oh.
which brought a lot of Twitter traffic my way. So thanks
Okay.
very much, Brent.
Yeah. So what would you say your favourite scene to film or like the line was from the first series? Like my personal favourite, I really like the Mr. Potato Head scene.
Yes, nicely humiliating.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good because that was a nice scene to film because of the reaction to all the other cast. When I walked on, like that was quite fun. Of course, pieces of it kept on falling off while we were filming, so everyone found that hilarious.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even notice, to be honest with you, because
Can't see anything.
you don't really, you can't feel it. You can't feel it when you lose something.
Yeah.
I can actually see quite well through the helmet. They're very clever with that. Yeah, it's a sort of I don't know how they've done it. Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and used some sort of NASA technology to make it work. But I'm very grateful for it. Yes.
So what can you tell us about season 2 of The Orville? Do you think we'll see any more Kalons at all? Because we've only Isaac's kind of the representation at the moment, isn't he?
I mean, you might do. I mean, you might have to. You might have to tune in to find out. We certainly learn more about the Kalon, a lot more. In fact, it's pretty epic. So there's a whole two-parter very much about it,
Okay.
about Kalon stuff. I don't want to tell you too much because it just spoils it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Also, I might get fired.
Yeah,
So
Fox might have a couple of words.
yeah, I'm sure they can get a bit vicious if they need to be. So I'm gonna step back and not tell you too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, I actually, I wrote an email to Seth after we wrapped, just saying thank you for giving Isaac so many brilliant things this season. He goes on so many arcs and has so much action, and gets to save the day a lot. So it's really good for Isaac this year, and I think anyone who likes Isaac is going to really like the show even more because of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. And you got some new additions as well this series, haven't you?
We do. The awesome Jess Zor. It's no secret now that she's involved, but she is just so fun to have around. Yeah, and we've got lots of cameos from pretty well-known actors as well, like we did in the first season.
They were great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's surprising how many the people are queuing up to sort of be part of it. And it's not just to sort of play a human, it's to play some strange alien. And,
Yeah.
often you can't even tell they're a celebrity or they're an actor, because they're so covered up in strange makeup, but they love doing it.
Yeah, Rob Lowe was like head to toe in like blue paint, right?
Right. And I reckon most people watched the first episode and had no idea. So when he turned up later on, they were like, oh, okay.
I know you from somewhere, yeah.
Right. So that's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's, I mean, the main cast is pretty much the same, but, it's the supporting cast keeps on changing, and yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you've done a bit of writing before, haven't you? So if you could write an episode for Isaac, what would you love to see him do? Would you get a cat for the bridge?
The cat for the bridge. Yeah, I still don't think he understands cats, to be honest with you. The whole bonding experience, I'm not sure he quite got it. A cat, I mean, he has difficulty dealing with the intelligence of humans,
Yeah.
let alone cats, dogs, canaries, whatever. I think pets are probably best not to leave him with one. I mean, he's scarily strong as well. We might end up with something crushed and dead by accident, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things you can do with Isaac. He's in many ways a blank slate. He's a bit of a sponge. He goes around the Orville world collecting data, and not just on quantities of things, but also on the nature of relationships and friendships, and the different sort of emotional vortexes that biologicals can end up in. And I think there's so much you can do with him. I mean, I would never pretend to better what Seth and our fantastic team of writers has done for the show. But yeah, I do think about things that we can do with Isaac, where he can go. Maybe let's chat about this next year, perhaps, and I might be able to be a bit more candid.
Fair enough. So how would you describe Isaac's perfect day if he was, ever to go on Tinder or anything?
Oh, date. I think it's a day.
Oh, yeah. Perfect day. Yeah.
Oh, right. Wow. Perfect date. Well, I suppose he quite likes someone who talks a lot, because, if he did all the talking, well, he wouldn't want to do all the talking. He wants to gather all that data and, find all those nuances in a person's personality. And yeah, so he'd like a chatty date, I reckon. He doesn't eat, so that'd be awkward. I mean, it would have to be I don't know, maybe like a spacewalk or something. a chatty spacewalk.
Yeah, okay. So what's it like being a Brit living in America then?
Living in America as a Brit, in LA particularly, is exactly like the series episodes. If it's very, very similar. And the sort of the way the Americans come across to us is very similar and baffling sometimes, definitely. After 2 years, though, I've kind of acclimatized, I think, and I've met so many wonderful people who are just so full of joie de vivre. They really want to kind of make shit happen, and it's so nice to be around that, because Brits will only commit to something if we are absolutely certain that we can pull it off. And that's fine. Obviously, that means generally nobody gets hurt. nobody gets let down. But at the same time, I think a lot less risks are taken here, and it's fun to be around risk takers.
Yeah. So do you guys hang out outside of set at all?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it depends. If we've had like a 200-hour week, I don't know if that's possible, actually. How many hours are there in a week? But, if you've been on set for sort of 15 hours a day, for 5 days, the last thing you really want to do is hang out in a bar with each other. Yeah. But we do, there's often a day when we're like, should we pop round to the hotel next door for a drink? And we go out to dinner, and those are really special nights. We really have a good time. And yeah, and it tends to happen at the beginning of a season because the shit sort of tends to hit the fan towards the end of a season. And
you hate each other then. Yeah.
Well, it's not so much that. No, absolutely not. We all get on very well, thankfully. It's more that the workload just becomes huge, and there's all the stuff that you need to catch up on. You still need to catch up on, and it gets added to, and it sort of snowballs. So the earlier on in the season, the better. Everyone's a bit more chilled out,
Yeah, definitely. So are you watching anything else at the moment? I know you're a fan of like sci-fi as well as the Orville.
Yeah, well, so I rinsed The Expanse pretty quickly. Loved that. Yeah. Loved Discovery. That was great. Looking forward to all that coming back. Although I don't know. I think The Expanse is coming back, is it?
Yeah,
you might know.
I think someone else has bought it.
Oh, have they? Good.
Yes,
good.
Yeah.
So yes, loved both of those. I'm also rewatching again, like for the 4th time, the entire seasons of Peep Show. I just can't get enough of it. It's so funny.
Okay, a little bit left field.
Right, and I'm enjoying all the David Attenborough stuff.
Yeah.
And we finished House of Cards like that. So it's funny, really. Yeah, you kind of go through really different phases now with box sets and things, don't you? You'll finish something quite quickly and you've got it in your head, and then you're on to the next thing. So
what's next in the pipeline for you? So obviously the Orville is coming out.
Well, I got married on the weekend, last weekend.
Well, congratulations. Thank
you very much. So we're going to be going off for a honeymoon at some point in the next couple of months. And I'm shooting a short film when I get back after that, which would be nice. So I need to make sure I don't get too brown for that because
right. You playing a Brit still?
Yes, the part does not require me to be tanned. So I'm going to be under umbrellas and slapping on the sunscreen. Yeah, so I'm doing that. I've just did a bit of filming this week, which was nice. So yeah, I'm mucking around with friends and writing a bit and just seeing where the next few months takes me. So yeah, it's kind of fun, really.
I mean, well, you're in London at the moment, so I'm sure you're probably going to watch something while you're here.
Oh yeah, I already have. I've binged. Yeah, it's fantastic. I went to see Jungle at the Playhouse, which was great. I went to see Weird Sisters, the Angela Carter play at the Old Vic.
Oh, okay.
Something Sisters. What's wrong with me? Anyway, that was very good.
Yeah.
There's lots I want to see as well. So yes.
I mean, have you seen Hamilton yet? Though is the big one.
Well, I saw that on Broadway. Actually.
There you go.
Yes, so that was great, and it was I mean, there's nothing else like it. It was fantastic. It's funny actually, as a Brit, and I'd like to know actually how it's gone down here, but as a Brit who doesn't necessarily really know the history, because we don't get taught it in our schools, do we?
No.
Of Hamilton and of that period in American politics. I think it's a lot harder going for us Brits to watch the show because we're really having to pay attention to figure out what the hell's going on. Where I think the Americans, obviously, it's drummed into them all their lives. So I think they can probably relax a bit when they watch it. So I think another viewing might be very useful for me, actually.
Yeah, maybe. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.